I expressed my regret for them having to bear this burden for so long and assured them that I would always love them. When it came to their mother, I told them I was going to leave because I couldn't imagine being with someone who had betrayed me. But, as the least I can do, I said I'd chat to her first before making any decisions. I instructed them not to tell their mother anything since I was going to have a chat with her later that evening. I go home at the end of the day, and my wife is already here, talking about her day, etc. I informed her that I had a stimulating conversation with our daughter. She picked up on what I was saying right away. She started crying, saying it was just a kiss, and she was frightened of losing me for such a tiny thing because she knows how much I'd value trust, and so on, especially with my business. To be honest, I expected watching her cry to make me cry, but it didn't. I informed her that the paperwork will be delivered to her by courier the following day, and that we would proceed. I then went to our bedroom, gathered my belongings, and departed. I had no idea where I was heading, but I couldn't bear staying in our house any longer. I made a reservation at a downtown hotel and informed my youngest that I would not be staying at home tonight. She explained that she had planned to stay with a friend tonight to avoid having to face her mother, but because I was out, she asked if she could stay with me instead. Yes, of course. My two other girls were informed that their sister and I would be spending the night in a hotel. When they asked whether we could talk together, I answered yes. According to my lawyer, I told them what the following steps would be during that conversation. I also made certain that they were aware that they were my daughters and that I adored them. I couldn't stop myself from telling them that a part of me was upset since they didn't tell me anything, despite everyone's advice. I expressed my belief that we have a strong bond and that we could talk about anything. They started crying and apologizing, so I reminded them that they are my daughter and I love them no matter what. However, I informed them that it would take some time for me to resume our normal behavior. When I told them I was thinking of taking a long journey to clear my mind, my eldest suggested I should do it if I needed it. We simply went to bed after that. The mother contacted me when my daughter and I were eating breakfast the next morning. I didn't want to pick up the phone, but my daughter insisted on speaking with me. I agreed, but I turned on the speaker. I could tell she'd been drinking all night as soon as I picked up the phone. She began to cry, telling me that she loves me, that we were destined to be together, that this will all be horrible for the children, and so on. I told her that the kids are now grown-ups who don't require our assistance. We did our best to help them, and now it's up to them to establish their own lives. She became incredibly unpleasant, threatening to take everything I owned, to destroy my firm, to tell our girls that I physically beat her, and so on. I was so taken aback that I just gazed at my daughter, who was equally taken aback by what she was hearing. I opted to end the conversation by telling her that my lawyer will contact her. My daughter and I didn't know what to say to each other. It's as if the person who had been with us for 2 decades had suddenly changed. She received a message from her mother 5 minutes later, telling her that they needed to chat. I instructed my daughter not to respond because she was terrified. Anyway, the mother was plainly inebriated, so that conversation was certain to fail. I informed her that I will be staying at this hotel until things are resolved, and that she is welcome to join me. We had a second group call with my 2 other kids to explain what had transpired, and they were astounded. My lawyer and I met, and I told him what had transpired. He assured me that I wouldn't have to be concerned about anything. The mother holds a strong professional position and is financially secure. I own a company that employs 50-100 people. Therefore, a judge would never endanger that given her secure position. She will receive half of our assets, properties, cars, etc., but she should not receive a penny from my savings or be able to claim anything from my firm. My daughter expressed concern about returning to our house with her mother because she believes she will be held responsible. I told her I'd look for an apartment downtown and she could stay with me either temporarily or until she feels ready to return to school. Her mother's outburst over the phone, I believe, severely troubled her. I'll tell her I'll locate someone who's C and help her if she needs it, such as a counselor. Let's watch how she reacts. After receiving the paperwork, the mother reportedly became enraged with our families or in mine. Her relatives attempted to contact us, but my eldest simply disconnected them. My brother, on the other hand, is familiar with me and has just offered his support. He understands that I wouldn't do such a thing for no cause. As a result, we've arrived at this point. Divorce is imminent, so my daughter is staying with me until she feels ready to return home. I've received communications from the mother. I may meet her, but my lawyer strongly advises me not to. I'll probably trust him because he claims there's nothing to gain and everything to lose. In terms of myself, I will not travel to Thailand until I am certain that my youngest child is safe. So, if I attend, it will most likely be next year after I finish high school. I'm not sure how our day-to-day lives will go, but we'll see. Unless something huge happens. I don't think I'll send another update. So, once again, I'd like to express my gratitude for all of your assistance. I never imagined myself in that scenario, and I pray no one else does either. Thank you all very much! Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to hear about any future cheating stories. I thought we were a strong couple with 3 grown daughters. I'm sorry you're going through this, I said at first, but I don't trust your narrative about my wife. Then she began to provide me with more information and proof. As I previously stated, I don't care whether it was because she intended to end our marriage, but as the specifics emerge, doubts begin to creep into your mind and they won't go away. I started my own research, and as you might expect, finding clues is a lot easier when you know what you're searching for, or I don't believe in living in denial. Facts are facts, and you must face the reality no matter how painful it is. She and the guy were, as far as I could tell, planning their wedding. I'm not sure what happened to him, but it appears that he felt compelled to confess. God alone knows what occurred in his mind. Cut ties with everyone and move on. I'm assuming these are statements from folks who don't have children. You're not going to be able to walk away like that. What I meant was that I'd go away for a while to process everything, and then we'd chat when I was ready. However, it will not be the same. I adore them, and they adore me. However, it will not be the same. But no matter how enraged I am, I don't think I can just walk away like that. My leaving would be traumatic for my youngest if she didn't truly disclose the truth and kept it to herself. This is my worst nightmare scenario. My other 2 might dislike her for it. I may be an idiot for believing that, but it is my responsibility as a father to defend them. I'll have the lawyer expedite the paperwork and serve my wife. Then, on the day she receives the documents, I'll Skype with my daughters who live in separate states so we can talk about it. I'd like to do it on the same day so they don't go talk to their mother, who will then try her hardest to play the victim. I want her to think I'm clueless until I'm ready. Now that it's Sunday, I'm hoping that all of the papers will be completed by next week, and I'll be able to finally open up and have a dialogue with my girls. Let's see what happens. I wasn't expecting such a strong response, so I'll make sure to keep you informed as soon as there are any important developments. Perhaps my experience will be useful to someone else, but I sincerely hope that no one has to go through that and seek advice. I brought my youngest daughter to lunch last week, as many of you suggested. I asked her if she had anything she wanted to discuss with me at that meeting. I'm not sure if it was my expression or tone, but she knew exactly what I was talking about. She sobbed and gave me the entire story. She did observe her mother having an affair with another man in our house a few years ago. My ex-wife allegedly urged the man to leave and sat with our daughter. She said that it was a momentary mistake of judgment, but that she was relieved that our daughter had intervened. She swore it was a one-time blunder and pleaded with her not to tell anything to me since she knew I would abandon her and our family. My daughter stated that she promised to keep the information a secret because she trusted her mother. She then shared it with my other 2 girls. As you could expect, they were both taken aback. My eldest didn't seem to trust the story of the one-time kiss. My youngest happened to stroll into the living room and find them embracing for the first time, which was too handy. She assured them that she would take care of it with their mother. A mess. Oh, proud of her for taking on this responsibility. According to what my youngest knows, my eldest talked to their mother about her cheating on me and threatened to tell me if she didn't come clean. The mother, on the other hand, always had an excellent excuse through the years to put it off. It was always a good excuse to explain that adding this on top of what was going on with me, whether it was our employment situation, a sick relative, or anything else. There was always a good explanation to explain that it would be disastrous to add this on top of what was going on with me. I informed her at the conclusion of the lunch that I would call her 2 sisters to talk about it. She was adamant about being a part of the conversation. That's all right. I texted my 2 girls and told them I needed to speak with them straight away. So we promptly made up a conversation. Part of me thinks they knew what I wanted to talk about, and I informed them that their mother's sister had informed me of the situation. They both started crying and saying things like, "I'm sorry, I wanted to tell you," and so on. To cut a long story short, I assured them that I was not angry with them. I just want to get out of here and go to Thailand, spend a few months on the beach, and maybe one day I'll be ready to listen, or maybe not. I'm not interested in hearing how sorry they are or how sad they are that they didn't inform me sooner. They were given 3 years. They didn't say anything for 3 years while looking me in the eyes. I'm not sure how they managed to keep a straight face and carry on as if nothing had happened. I have the impression that the 4 of them are skilled manipulators and my rage is growing. What would you do if you were in my shoes? The possibility of reconciliation with the wife is ruled out. She repulses me, and the fact that she acts like a loving wife only fuels my rage. I'm grateful my friend assisted me and told me about her experience so I could see things from a different perspective. I'm looking for help with my daughters. As I previously stated, part of me wants to talk, but another part of me believes they don't deserve a chance to speak up right now. It's past the point of no return. I'm completely befuddled. Thank you for taking the time to read all of that. It took me a long time to put it all down on paper, but it feels wonderful. Edit. Hello, everyone! Exclamation first and foremost. I want to express my gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to read this lengthy message. I expected to wake up and respond to a few texts, but when I saw the number, I was taken aback. I can't express my gratitude enough for all of your help. I read over all of the comments and decided to make an adjustment so that everyone could read my ideas. I'm not sure how Reddit works, so I'm hoping I'm doing okay. Lawyer up. Yep, it's already happening. Lawyer assured me that alimony would not be a problem since the children are adults. She may petition for spouse support, but since she works and is able to support herself, the judge is likely to deny her request. We only use our joint account for things we pay as a pair, otherwise we both have our separate bank accounts. My parents advised me that if two people are working together, they should not put everything in a joint account. I can't express my gratitude enough. Lawyer stated that she may claim that my company is doing well and that she is entitled to a portion of it if I sell it. However, because she works, we can always dispute about it. To be honest, I couldn't care less. I know I should talk to my daughters. You're both completely correct. The reason I haven't done it is because I'm filled with a rage that won't go away. I'm afraid if one of them says something that irritates me, I'll lose it. And sure, I'd like to believe my wife influenced them to keep the information hidden. So my outburst will exacerbate the situation. Yes, the rage is misdirected. But, just to be clear, when I found out about the affair, I obviously despised my wife. But eventually the rage gave way to indifference. I'm getting divorced and she'll be gone. It's different with my children. I can't possibly despise my children. I have feelings for them, but they are currently anger-based because they have always been so close. I presume my youngest shared it with the other two. It's hard to think my youngest didn't take part in the support, which makes me very proud. But, as someone else pointed out, I'm not positive. In any event, I'm not going to hold it against them. If they say they didn't want to break up the family, etc., I understand their point of view. The lying, on the other hand, is difficult to tolerate. Someone wrote something that made me feel like they were siding with their unfaithful mother. I think I'll need some alone time to process things. I haven't had much time lately. With a wife, 3 girls, and a business to run, the only time I have for myself is when I go to the gym. However, I do not believe it is sufficient to alleviate the rage. And in my current situation, telling them I'll be gone for a month and then going to Hawaii would be strange. Paternity tests, STDs, and other health screenings. This is a no-brainer. I have an appointment at clinic where I will perform all of the necessary tests. I'm not sure about paternity tests. What's the point after all? Worst case scenario, they aren't made of my flesh. Does it make a difference? They are my daughters, whom I have raised for the past 20 years. It makes no difference if you are related through blood. If they aren't, it is the mother's fault, not theirs. That's something I can't hold them responsible for. My first thought was that the lady who contacted me had lied. I discovered my wife had cheated on me and her daughters were aware of it, and she... Hello everyone and welcome back to another story about Reddit cheating. Please click the subscribe button and the notification bell before we begin so you don't miss another cheating story. I'm using this account as a placeholder since I don't want to create one and leave traces on my computer. It's a long story, but I need to get it down somewhere. Please accept my apologies for ranting like that. My wife, 52F, cheated on me a few years back and I, 55M, discovered it. We've always been a solid pair. Married for 25 years, 3 daughters, 17/20/23, or at least that's what I believed. Or did I discover it on my own? One day, I got a message from a woman who said her soon-to-be husband had admitted to cheating with his senior colleague at work. He came clean and supplied the woman's name, so she did some investigating and discovered me. She believed I had a right to know the truth. I'm not sure she did. It despite my wife or because she truly believed I deserved to know, but it doesn't matter. Obviously, I didn't believe her at first, but as she provided more specifics about the affair, dates, duration, names of coworkers who knew, etc., it became clear that she was telling the truth. The guys gave her all the specifics, hotel name, even my goddamn house address because she invited him, her phone number, and so on. So I had to confront the truth at some point. I still can't believe she slept with a kid because he was 21 at the time. When I was on a business trip, it happened to me, classic. When I put the pieces together, I understand she most likely orchestrated this because my business trip had been planned months in advance. It's hard for me to believe it's a coincidence that she cheated at the same period of time as I was gone. My wife is no longer alive. I'm ready to divorce her, therefore I'm just getting ready to do it, financials, etc. When one of my dear friends was confronted with the same problem, she urged me not to confront my wife because she would go nuclear if cornered. I don't believe she would, but who knows. I thought I knew who she was, but it turns out I didn't. It's been difficult to witness her every day acting as if nothing had occurred. She's talking about going to see our daughters during our next vacation. Our eldest works in a different city, and the second one is in college. The youngest is finishing high school. She's like a flatmate now, and I'm like a ghost in our house since I don't feel anything. I get up at 5 a.m., go to the gym, go to work, I operate a business, and then come home about 7 p.m. to do my own thing. I have a sense my wife is experiencing something unusual, but I don't care. The fact that my girls were aware of the affair hurt the most, and this is where I need guidance. My kid walked on them while they were huddling in our living room. The soon husband told his girl. Wife thought she would be at school all day. She appears to have calmed down her daughter and explained the matter. I'm not sure what happened, but my daughter never told me anything. So I'm not sure what her mother told her to keep hidden. Knowing how close she is to her two sisters, I'm confident she revealed the truth to them. And it's likely that the three of them decided to keep it private. That's most likely why I'm so distant. I consider myself to have been and continue to be a good father. I put in a lot of effort into my company to ensure that they get the finest of everything. I prioritize them in all of my business decisions to ensure that I can provide for them, and I send them to college debt-free to give them the best possible start in their careers. I attempted to be present at every stage of their lives as any good father would. Obviously, we had our ups and downs, but nothing significant. They're my little princesses, and I've always thought of them as such. Knowing that they knew hurts a lot. Part of me believes they didn't tell me because they didn't want to ruin the family. That is something I am aware of. But I'm still filled with rage, and it's only getting stronger. We had a WhatsApp group, and I simply want to shout and confront everyone when I see people asking for guidance, asking for aid with a deposit for a flat, and so on. But I know it won't help anything. It'll only give me a 10-second happy feeling before it starts to sting again. A part of me just wants to get out of here. I'm going to close my bank account and leave the house. Cut all relations with them and go without saying anything. My excellent friend advised me against it because the law doesn't like it. But honestly, I can't say that I'm not warming to this alternative. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to understand their point of view.